Hello and welcome to week 2 of Bit by Bit Coding's intermediate web development course. Today, we're going to build a cool pet adoption website with 2 pages, a home and an adopt page. We will start in code.org's web lab. If you have just joined the course, make sure to set your age as 13 or up when signing up for code.org. You can name the project whatever you want. I will name it Web Dev Week 2. We will work with 3 blank files. One is index.html, where we will create the structure and content of the home page, such as titles, images, and buttons. The other file is style.css, where you can create the look of the website, such as background color and font families. Let's also add a third HTML file and name it adopt.html. With this HTML file, we will create the structure and content of our adopt page. The .html is just standard practice to help the computer and us know that this is an HTML file. Make sure to remove all of this text that may have come when you added the file. Now let's start coding the index.html file. This tells the browser that this is an HTML file. The HTML tag wraps the whole web page, and this tells the browser that the web page is in English. Now let's close the HTML tag as well. To do that, add a slash in front of its name. By closing the HTML tag, it marks the end of our web page. I like to close tags before working so that I don't forget later on, and I can also click this refresh and save button to show you our progress. Let's start with the head tag, which contains information that helps the browser process and display the page. Users cannot see this information on the page. Now we can use special characters like emojis. This makes your web page look good on phones and tablets. The title tag helps you style the text on the browser tab. You can name your adoption center whatever you want. I will name it Pause and Co. Adoption Center. Make sure to close the title tag. This will link the CSS file to the page. Make sure the href matches the name of the CSS file. Finally, let's close the head tag. Now let's work on the body of our web page. The header tag creates the top section of our home page. We want to create a navigation bar for this website to be able to navigate between the home page and the adopt page. To make one, create a nav tag. On the navigation, we will include the title of our web page. Use h1 tags to create the title. Write the name of your adoption center, and then close the h1 tag. We will use UL tags to structure our page links in the navigation bar. UL tags creates unordered lists. Let's create our home page link first. Start with an li tag, which creates the first item in our list. Use the keyword href we will create a hyperlink to our homepage file titled index.html. We will call our hyperlink home. Now close the A tag and the li tag. Using the same formatting, let's create our adopt page link. Using the href, create a hyperlink to adopt.html. We'll call this hyperlink adopt and close the A and li tags. Now we are done with the navigation and header section, so close the yellow tag, nav tag, and header tags. Now we can create the main part of our home page. Let's start with our welcome intro section. Create a section using the section tag and have its class set to intro. The h2 tag creates a subheading. Let's call our subheading welcome and then close the h2 tag. Using p tags, we will create a short text description of our adoption center and then close the p tags. We are done with our intro section, so close the section tag. Our second section in the home page will be the mission statement of the Adoption Center. So set the class to mission. Using the h2 tags again, we will title our section Our Mission. We will use the p tags over here to write the mission statement of the center. Make sure to close the p tags. Now close the mission statement section. Our final section in the home page will be a call to action, or CTA, asking users to adopt a pet from the center. Use the section tag and set the class to CTA. The title of this section should ask users if they're ready to adopt an animal. Now, we'll create a button that users can click if they want to adopt an animal. This button will take them to the Adopt page section. Use the href keyword. We will create a link to the adopt.html file. To make it easier for us to style this to make it look like a button, let's also set the class to btn. Let's call our button See Who's Available. Now close the tag and close the section as well. As you can see, if I click this hyperlink, it will take me to the adopt.html web page, or even if I click the hyperlink over here. Since we're done with the main section of the home page, click out of the main section. We can create a footer or bottom section of our web page using a footer tag. For our footer, I'll use a p tag and type and close the p tag and our footer tag. We are now done with our HTML file for our home page on the Adoption Center website. Let's work on the second page, the adopt.html file. This properly creates our HTML file and tells the browser it's in English. Let's also close the HTML tag right now so that I can refresh and show the progress as we go. Now let's create a head tag. Our web page can now use emojis and have a proper structure on phones and tablets. Using the title tags, we will title our browser tab for this page as Adopt a Friend. Finally, let's link the CSS file to this HTML file as well, so we can style it later on. Now let's close the head tag. Now we can work on the body of the page. Create a header tag to work on the top part of the web page. We will create the same navigation bar over here as well. We don't want the navigation bar to disappear when the user navigates from the home page to the adoption page. Using the h1 tags, we will create the title for the Adopt web page on the navigation bar. Let's call it Meet Our Animals and close the h1 tag. Use URL tags to create the same page links. Let's keep our page links consistent with the ones in the home page navigation bar. Using the li tag and the href keyword, we will create a hyperlink to the home page first. Make sure to title this hyperlink the same that you titled in the last navigation bar in the home page. With the same formatting, create the hyperlink to the adoption page. Now we're done with the navigation and header section of the adopt page. So close the URL tag, nav tag, and header tag. Now use the main tags to create the main part of our website. The only section we will have on our Adopt webpage will be cards to introduce the animals at the Adoption Center. For this section, we'll need images for 3 animals, so make sure to download 3 images from online and upload them onto code.org using the Add Image button over here. Now using the section tag, let's create the section and set the class to pet-gallery. We will use div tags to group the information of each pet together and create cards. Set the class to pet-card. Using h2 tags, we will title our card with the name of the pet. You can name the pets whatever you want. I will name this one Luna. To upload the image of the pet, use an image tag to display the image. Have the source equal to the name of your image. I've named my image luna-beagle.png. The alternative text describes what the image is. Let's set our text to adoptable pet photo. Using p tags, we will include the age and breed of the pet. You can put the information of whatever pet you have selected. Make sure to close the p tags. We will also include a short, cute description of the pet. Now close this pet card. Oh, I also made this capital. Should be lowercase. We will follow the same formatting for the other 2 cards. Create another div tag and set the class to pet-card. Use the h2 tags to name the pet. I will name this one Cooper. Now let's upload the image. I set the name of this image as Cooper-Labrador-Retriever.png. Set the alternative text to adoptable pet photo. Once again, use p tags to describe the age and breed of the animal you have selected. And close the p tag. Also include a short cute description of this animal. Close the second pet card. Now make our last pet card. I will name this one Yuki. The name of this image is yuki-samoyed.png. So using the image tag, have the source equal that name, or whatever name that you selected. And set the alternative text to adoptable pet photo. Write the age and breed of this pet. And a cute description. Now close this pet card and close the section as well. We are done with the main part of our section. Click outside of the main tag. We'll create a footer for this web page as well. Using the p tag, I will create our footer text. And now close the footer tag. We are now done with creating the structure of our adopt page. Now let's work on the CSS file to style and color our website. Let's start by resetting our style sheet to create a consistent layout. Some browsers may add unnecessary styling to a website. The asterisk makes it so that this CSS rule affects every HTML element. We set the margins to 0, the padding to 0, and this makes it so that the box border and padding stays within the defined box size. Now we're done with this rule. Now let's make a consistent styling for the whole website. Remember that the header, main, and footer of the web pages are all part of the body. So we will have this CSS rule affect body elements. This sets the font to sans serif. Now let's make the background color to an off-white, and the text color to a dark gray. This adds spacing between lines for readability. Now we're done with this rule. We will work on the header sections. Set the background color to a light yellow. This adds space inside the header to make your navigation bar bigger. The 1.5 rem adds top and bottom spacing, while the 1 rem adds left and right spacing. We will add a border at the bottom and set the color to a darker yellow. We will also add a very light drop shadow below the box. Now we will arrange our navigation bar so everything fits in one line. We will use Flexbox to position the navigation. HTML elements usually stack vertically. This line changes our navigation bar into a Flexbox container and our nav elements into flex items. It causes the flex items to lay out in a single row, as you can see here. This places our first item, the title, at the very start of the flex container, and the last item, the hyperlinks, to the very end. It also makes an even spacing between all other items, but since we only have 2 items, you won't see that in this case. This makes sure the elements are vertically aligned in the middle of the navigation bar. Flex wrap is important for maintaining layout in different devices, like phones. If the screen is too narrow to fit all the elements in the navigation bar, this line causes it to wrap or go to the next line. This way users don't have to scroll horizontally. As you can see, right now, all the items are in one row. But if I make the screen smaller, it wraps up into the next line. We're now done with this rule. Now let's style our title or H1 element on the navigation bar. Let's make the font size bigger and set the color to a golden brown. Now, let's change the layout of the list of hyperlinks on the navigation using Flex. First, make them flex items to cause them to arrange on the same row. And now, let's add spacing between each link, since right now they're all bunched up together. We will now format each list item. This causes them to no longer have bullet points. To affect each hyperlink formatting, we will make this CSS rule. Let's remove the underline from each link and change the text color to brown. Let's also make our font bold. Since we have 2 navigation bars, one in the home page and the other in the adopt page, these navigation rules will affect both at the same time. So if I click to the home page, it will have the same formatting for the navigation bar. Let's go back to the style.css file. Now let's work on the main section of our website. We will first add spacing in the main section so that it isn't bunched close to the header and footer. We will add 2 rem top and bottom spacing and 1 rem left and right spacing. This makes it so that no main element is wider than 900 pixels. That way, in long screens, the information doesn't spread across the entire screen. As you can see, the information doesn't sprawl across the entire screen, but goes to the next line every 900 pixels. This makes items centered in large screens. See how the information is now in the middle of the large screen. Let's make a rule for the intro, mission, and CTA sections on the home page, using a dot in front of each name. This adds spacing below each section. Now let's create a special rule for the CTA section. This aligns the entire CTA section to the middle of the screen. Now let's design this call to action button. This line causes the hyperlink to behave like an inline element and a block element. This way it sits on the same line, but now you can add things like padding to make it look like a button. We will set its background color to bright yellow. The text color to dark gray, and we will also add padding. 0.75 rem padding on the top and bottom, and 1.5 rem padding on the left and right. This will round the corners of the border. We will remove the underline and make the text bold. This line is important for our next CSS rule. That will change the color of the button when you hover over it. Instead of the color instantly changing, this line causes it to fade to the other color in 0.3 seconds. Let's make this hover rule. When we hover over the button, the background will change to a slightly darker yellow color. As you can see here. We will now work with the pet gallery section on the Adopt page. This transforms the pet gallery section into a grid system so that we can position and size each pet card. This tells the browser to place as many columns as can fit next to each other on the screen. Each column will be at least 250 pixels wide and will stretch to fill available space evenly. As you can see here, since the third column cannot fit, it is pushed to the bottom, while the two columns over here are evenly spaced in the space provided. This places a gap of 2 rem between each column. Now let's design each pet cards. Set the background color to a light cream. This creates a 2-pixel yellow border. This rounds the corner of the yellow border. We will also add padding spacing on all 4 sides inside each card. The text is now centered. Each box now has a light shadow. While our pet card boxes have been formatted, the images are still not fitting perfectly inside the cards. To style each image, let's create a new CSS rule. This causes the image to fill the width of the card. It doesn't fill the 1 rem padding, though. Let's round the corners of the images. We will also add an 0.5 rem spacing underneath each image. Our final CSS rule will affect the footer. We will center the footer, add padding, 1.5 rem padding on the top and bottom, and 1 rem padding on the left and right. Let's set the background color to a light yellow. We will add 2 rem spacing at the top of the footer. Let's make the font bold. And finally, set the text color to brown. We are now done with our cute adoption website.